guys, so I have just filled my baby's hospital bag and I'm hoping to get that up before this video, so if you haven't watched that already, definitely go and check that out. But today I am doing my 32-week pregnancy update. I'm going to be 33 weeks on Friday, and as I said, I am going to be now filming these rather than blogging them, just because I'm finding it too much hard work to kind of do both. So yeah, just quickly getting into it. Basically, in the last video I told you that the baby was measuring a little bit smaller than I had been referred to the fetal medicine team, and they did another scan and the baby has definitely grown around the midline, around the belly. The baby is measuring on the like 50th centile, but legs and heads are still quite small. However, I think my husband came with me and she saw how small he was and how small I am, and she did sort of feel like she's not got massive concerns. I have a history of having small babies anyway, so she doesn't have, you know, and the baby's growing, so she's not kind of overly concerned at the moment, but she does want to see me just one more time just to check that everything is kind of okay. So I've got one more appointment with her, and then hopefully everything should, touch wood, be kind of on track and whatnot for a home birth. I went to the midwife the next day just to kind of check in with her, and I was due to see her anyway, and she did the fundal height, and there was some massive discrepancies. The fundal height is basically saying that I'm measuring like 1 week behind and pretty much on the 50th centile, and yet the scans measuring me on the like 10th centile, 15th centile, something like that. So there's huge discrepancies, which just goes to show the complete inaccuracy in the system and how they kind of really need to update it or find some other method of measurement. I don't know. We were told that Sebastian was going to be around the 5.5 pound mark, which is why we were told to be induced at the time. I was induced on my due date with him, which I now know I could have refused. I should have got more support around that. I just thought, oh, they're telling me I need to be induced, I'll just go with it. And actually, I didn't have to be induced at all. There was nothing clinically like wrong with him. So, and he wasn't actually 5.5 pounds. And we've always thought he was £6.7 because it says that in his red book. Only according to the fetal medicine doctor and his records, he wasn't £6.7, he was £6.4. So I'm a bit frustrated about that. And I know it's just a number, it doesn't mean anything, but it's still like a bit like, well, if you've got that wrong then. So I'm definitely taking this one with a pinch of salt. And although she's measuring smaller than, or the same size, if not smaller than Sebastian, I actually think she's going to be bigger. I measure like Albert was around the £7 mark. Albert was £7.1, so he was smaller end of average. I have had so much difficulty trying to source a birth pool. The prices for the birth pool hire have gone up. It used to be £90, it's now 130, and of course if things don't go quite your way and you get transferred or you don't get to go in it or whatever, like happened with Albert, you lose all that money, and it's a lot of money to lose, especially near Christmas, which is when I'm kind of due. So I decided that I was actually going to buy one secondhand, and the difficulty with buying them secondhand is often they don't come with all the things that I really like. So when you hire a birth pool, it comes with the pump to empty it. It's literally just like a pump you put in, drains out a hose, so it empties it really easily. A really good pump to kind of blow it up as well. And so you don't have to sit there pumping it. Like just when you plug in, it goes just like inflates. And yeah, it comes with all the liners and all the temperature gauges and everything. It just comes with everything. So it's quite hard to find a birth pool that comes with all that, I have found in my experience. I did find a Facebook page that's called Home Birth Sales UK or something, and on there I found a birth pool. It's the La Bassine, it's this one, and the last one I had was the birth pool in a box mini, and the La Bassine standard is actually slightly smaller than the birth pool in a box mini, which is perfect because we are limited for room downstairs, which has also been a bit of a worry. I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, so it's slightly smaller. It comes with a kind of sheet to keep the pool warm, a tarpaulin to go underneath it. It comes with all the kind of pumps that you need to empty it, the pump to fill it up, one hose used to fill it up, and then all we need to buy is a hose pipe, like a 10-metre hose, which I can get on Amazon, and a liner to go in it, which I think is about 20 quid. So I don't actually have to buy much extra, and I'm buying that for £70, and I can sell that. So if something something for whatever reason doesn't happen, I can just sell it and get my money back. I'm not going to be losing out, which is great. So I'm quite looking forward to getting that. Chris is picking it up after work because it's not far from his work, and he's going to bring it back and we are going to inflate it. The thing I'm quite upset about is I did do a whole video when I was 37 weeks pregnant of me inflating the birth pool in a box, showing you around the kind of home birth kit that the midwives bought me, and I somehow, my fat fingers deleted it. At least it's gone, been deleted, removed, and I know that, I don't think YouTube did that. I think I've done that somewhere, slip of the thumb. So hopefully I can get another one up for you this time around and show you kind of what the midwives, at least in our area, bring, kind of deliver the home birth box a good few weeks before your due date, and then I can show you as well around the pool. In terms of symptoms my reflux has, I thought I got away with it. I thought I had gotten away with having no reflux. My reflux at the moment is so bad, and if you have followed me from all my pregnancies, you'll remember that, well, you'll know that I've got a stomach problem anyway. I have quite severe reflux at the best of times, gastroparesis and delayed stomach emptying. So these are conditions I live with generally, but they are made about 1,000 times worse when you are pregnant. I'm unable to kind of hold more than a fistful of food or drink in my stomach now at any one time. If I drink a cup of tea, I can only have like a half cup of tea. And if I go, before I go to bed, it's obviously when it's worse. Even though I don't lie down flat, I lie kind of quite upright. If I'd eaten some food, or it's worse with drink, this is really gross, so if you've got any kind of phobia of sick, just don't listen. If I bend over and go to, say, do up my shoes, and I've just had a drink, I will vomit. Like, I can't control it, it just comes up. Because there's no, the flap in the top of my stomach doesn't close, and then of course with the pregnancy everything's being kind of squashed, so it can make my life really, it's horrible. It's a really horrible thing to experience, and it's at this stage that I start to struggle with my weight, being able to maintain my weight, because I can't keep much food down, I can't eat an awful lot. So I hear all these stories about women just wanting to eat loads and just wanting to just eat everything in sight, and it's the last thing I want to do. I physically can't manage it anymore. And actually with Albert, I remember not long before my due date, it was so bad I considered asking for an induction because of it, and they were willing to do that for me because it was just so bad. So I'm hoping it's not going to get that bad. I'm going to try and manage it a bit better this time round. Just see how we kind of go. Also, another thing, I'm being investigated for possibly having gallstones, yeah, in my gallbladder. I've had problems at the top up here. Whenever I touch it, press it, or if I'm just sitting like I am now and the baby's like pressing on it. And again, if you go back through my pregnancy updates around this sort of time, you'll hear me talking about this pain. With Sebastian, nothing kind of came from it. After I had him, I was really in a bad way and I never followed it through. And the pain never really came back an awful lot, intermittently, but until I had Albert. When I had Albert, the same story as with Sebastian. I kind of left it too long, and then somebody mentioned it was probably a cracked rib. He was really quite much, even though he was £7.1, my body, I struggled to carry Albert, and they thought it might be a cracked rib. So that's just what we thought it was. This time, however, speaking to the actual fetal medicine doctor, she has said there's very well could be gallstones, given my history with my stomach and gastro problems anyway, and in pregnancy gallstones can be a little bit more common. So I was like, wonderful. So I'm going to have another kind of ultrasound x-ray to kind of determine as to whether they are gallstones, and if they are, I can't have them removed until after I've had the baby. But they are extremely painful. If anybody has ever been through this, please let me know. So I don't know if it is gallstones, but if it is, I want to know kind of what to expect. Oh yeah, so baby's head's kind of like three quarters engaged, but can bob out quite a lot. Sometimes I feel like she's turning a little bit kind of more to the transverse side. So baby's head can pop out quite a lot when you've had, like, the more children you have. So yeah, even though they've told me that, I'm taking it very much with a pinch of salt that they could change at any point. I have been drinking raspberry leaf tea like there's no tomorrow. Our NCT teacher told us gave us kind of a rundown about raspberry leaf tea, and it's actually best to be taken a bit early on in the pregnancy. So I started at 32 weeks, but in some countries, I think in Australia and in other kind of Middle Eastern countries, they recommend it right from the beginning because it doesn't induce labour or anything like that. It just tones the uterus. So yeah, and I do believe that it did make a difference in my labour with Albert. It was a very quick labour, so I do believe that that did make a difference. So we shall see. That's pretty much it in terms of like me and stuff, and yeah, how I've been. We are going to be discussing with the midwives, obviously, like birth plan and stuff, and I will run down my birth plan with you because I use kind of more visual images rather than writing it down. I use these little pictures from a webpage called Mama Natural, so I will print that off and show you kind of what is on the birth plan. But we actually are planning to have it so that there's very minimal interaction from the midwives. I only really want very, very minimal vaginal examinations during the procedure. I don't want kind of anyone really close to me, so I want them there but not really doing a lot, if that makes sense. I want to try and see what my body can do on its own, and if possible, Chris to be in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world, but there's lots of legalities around childbirth, so I think you can't deliver a baby or actually take them out, but you can catch a baby if you are like not a trained midwife or doctor. So we want it so that I deliver the baby, and if it's in water, that Chris is the one that catches the baby and lifts the baby to me, so it's kind of like he's delivered her. So that's kind of what we're planning to do, and I think it would just be really nice, and I'm really kind of hoping and praying that things go that way. I know these things can change at any point, and although I did have a wonderful labour with Albert and I did do most of it at home, I really don't want any medical intervention whatsoever. I want it to be completely 100% like primal, natural, being at home childbirth if I can. So yeah, that's all for me, and I thought I'd just do a little bit of a haul, show you what I've been buying. I've bought a few bits in, and yeah, just kind of not enough to make up a whole haul video, but enough that I wanted to show you today. So first thing I got is a shower curtain, and this is obviously for home birth. I picked this up in just B&M. However, it's kind of more of a fabricy one, and then somebody said these are not the ones that you should use the plasticky one. I thought that makes sense. But I figured I'm gonna have this probably on the sofa and then put the kind of absorbent bed pad things that you know, those big like pads, those like puppy pad things. We're gonna have a load of those on the sofa, so at least I've got this, some towels and those protecting the sofa. And of course, like I said, the birth ball comes with some tarpaulin. I don't know if I've shown you these. I bought these quite a while ago, but I thought I'd kind of show you anyway, because my memory, I don't think I've shown you, but they are basically two little receiving blankets. I love the print on these. They're like little hedgehogs, and I've got a grey one and a green one, and they're made of that kind of flanella type fabric, and these are going to basically just go over the, like in where the baby's sleeping. Our babies have always slept in some kind of like sleepy head or Perflow, and we decided to stick with the Perflow as opposed to the sleepy head, which was what we used with Albert, just because I preferred it. I felt like it lasted a bit longer. But it's basically, this bit has like an internal like big bumper, which I need to get a new one, that goes in it, so it's like a nest, and then it does have this kind of mesh bit in the middle, which is breathable, hypoallergenic, all that stuff, but I don't think it's very comfortable for babies, so I'm just going to kind of lay this on top, so they've got something more comfortable to kind of lie on. Once we finish using these is to actually cut them up and make them into cloth wipes. So yeah, nappies. I bought some more nappies, some more newborn nappies, which I'm so excited about. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little Joeys. Only 4 of them are official little Joey brands. I bought there's a blue one there, and my favourite is definitely this chevron. I love these. These are basically the cutest nappies ever, and they fit, I think, from about £5 to £12. Now, normally I would discourage anyone from buying any kind of all-in-one nappy. They just don't last very long, and especially if you're having a bigger baby, it's just not worth it. Go to a 2-parter. But because we plan to cloth from birth and we're predicted a smaller baby, I decided to get some, and of all the all-in-ones, these are apparently the better ones to get. yet. They have got a double gusset, and apparently they're very good for containment, but not so good for absorption after a while. They are microfiber core, which I'm not a fan of at all, but I think I'm probably just going to put another booster in or something, like a little mini booster, a bamboo or something, if need be. And it has a snap down for the umbilical cord as well, which I love. So I've got 5 of those little joeys, and I think these are much easier to take out in the early days than like a pre-fold or something. I also bought some newborn muslins, and these are tiny. I think these are actual newborn muslins, because when I've bought the size 1 Bambino Mio and like smaller ones from cheaper website, like cheapy ones, they're a little bit bigger, whereas this is by a brand called Muslins, and it's actually like muslin fabric but in a pre-fold, and it feels really absorbent and much smaller. So I definitely think these are going to be brilliant for like birth and like for very small babies. I do find that pre-folds I have had, even the smaller ones, have just been that little bit big. But I also plan to basically tri-fold them like so and use them as a booster in pocket nappies when I'm finished using them. Oh, another thing I've bought as well is this. This is the mattress for the co-sleeper for our Chico next to me. And basically the other mattress kind of went a bit Fausty and horrible when it was in storage, but also I hated it anyway because it was so hard. So I looked online, and the mattress that is made for the Chico is by a brand called Susie, and they do another one which is this one, and it's much softer. It's still really firm, but much more like less like the other one, like just got a bit more sort of squishiness to it and just not so kind of hard and horrible, and a bit more comfortable. So I bought that. So this week I had my baby shower. I say this week, it was like last weekend. I had my baby shower and got some really lovely gifts. I got £40 to spend at an amazing store that has an online shop, but it's also local, called Ellis and Wren. They sell loads of like Scandi kind of clothing, Little Green Radicals, Frugy, Duns. They sell loads and loads of really amazing stuff, plus toys. And my NCT friends bought that for me, and I cannot wait to use it. I need to get down to that shop. I might do that on Thursday actually. I need to get down to the shop and basically spend my £40, which I'm really excited about. But I'll leave the website link down below, because if that is the kind of clothes you like, they do have some really lovely stuff in stock. And they also bought me £40 worth of Heartbeeps vouchers, and Heartbeeps is a franchise which I would definitely recommend Googling it. It's an interactive group that's very kind of in touch with nature, and the lady that runs our local one, very kind of like gentle parent, AP parent. She does a lot of the sling libraries and stuff, so it's really kind of in touch with nature, Montessori, that kind of things, which is why we love it. One of my friends bought me this kind of fluffy blanket. It's just a really, it's just a really lovely kind of fleecy blanket. Another friend got me this really beautiful kind of keepsake book to put kind of photos in and stuff. I've actually stored that away now, because in like the Gonna Be baby box, just to keep there safe. But that was really lovely. And I also got this, which I highly recommend. One thing that I tend to do, I don't know if anyone does this, is I shove like my phone and my wallet and just knickknacks kind of in the creases of the hood. So when you open the hood or whatever, it kind of just falls out. So she bought me this caddy, and it's definitely the most handiest thing. And it comes with a detachable wallet, so you can put snacks in, money change in there, snacks, phone, drinks, whatever, and it's kind of all contained in one place. So I definitely recommend it if you are like a Prime user. I really don't understand how I've not bought one already. Finally, I got this amazing celebration ring, which is by Grimm's Toys, although I think the ring is from another brand called Nearman's. I always thought celebration rings were like for like zero waste cakes, but they're not. They're really lovely symbolic rings that you can use for anything, for anniversaries, for anything. And she bought me the rainbow to represent the fact that we nearly lost this baby at the beginning, and we really didn't think that this baby would get this far. I'm still struggling with that concept, and obviously it's the biggest issue in my anxiety, but the rainbow kind of is like the rainbow after the storm. And then the kind of little mother to kind of symbolize the fact that I'm a mother. and then a little photo holder, put the scan in there. And I have bought some bits. I've bought a few numbers that I'm going to use for some upcoming birthdays, anniversaries. I bought a little crown to represent the boys being my princes, and I bought a lovely little flower. So I'm going to start buying all the bits and bobs, and I think when it gets to different celebrations in the year, we'll add to it and the boys can help me. So I highly recommend them. I think they're just a really lovely, like, symbolic thing, and I can't think what else I've ordered. So there'll probably be more hauls coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, click like, and when you do subscribe, click the notification bell to make sure you are notified every time I upload. And follow me on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.